Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Property Sourcing Network pop-up podcast. Today we are in Kirkliston, one of Matt's flips. It's just about to complete. Fingers crossed, aye. So today we're going to just do a little bit of a roundup on what we've been up to in the last few weeks. We'll talk a bit about Matt's project, hopefully get some tips and insights into this flip and how it went and the numbers and whatnot. And then we're going to do a little bit on sourcing with no money, just to give a little bit extra value. So we'll try and do a topic like that every time we come on. So, yeah, Matt, how has things been the last few weeks, mate?
So things have been good since the turn of the year. I've done 23 deals. So I think I just sat down there and worked out we're on week 17 of the year. So a decent bit over a deal a week, which is ideal. So that's been a combination of stuff, sourcing deals off market, some of my own stuff, estate agency stuff, that kind of thing. So 17 deals this week. I've done 3 deals. I'm just hopefully agreed another deal last week. There was a wee shop in Galashiels that we've agreed, a flat in House and Shots with Mark Riley in the group, and then one with Sean Spalding in the group as well in East Kilbride. So nice. That was good. That hopefully a wee flat in Hoyk that the boy says he's keen for last night, so fingers crossed. 3 new refurbs starting this week, one in Hoyk, which is a 2 to 3 bed conversion, one in Eddleston, which is just kind of a bathroom paint and carpets, and then one in EH11 in Edinburgh, which will be a full renovation, which should be good. Had 3 completions in the last week as well, one with our 2 to 1 client Alicia, which was really good to get over the line. That's in Hoyk, a wee one in Eddleston as I mentioned, and then obviously this one in Edinburgh, the 3 refurbs that are starting. 2 new estate agency deals under offer this week as well, which has been great. One of them took a wee while to get over the line. Both of them did actually, in terms of getting offers on them, so quite pleased. It just shows that the market's pretty strong, I think.
What's your sort of monthly sort of deals for the estate agency? What you doing?
Just depends on what comes in. So as you know, it's kind of just another exit for me at the minute. Yeah. So it just depends on what comes in. But I don't know how many properties we've got live. Not a huge amount, but sort of enough to keep things busy enough with inquiries and whatnot. Right. So the last few weeks we've definitely been getting a lot more stock on. So it just really depends. It's different kind of work to the source and stuff. Yeah, but it's been pretty good. So two wee flats. And then obviously we've got this flip, which is touch wood going to complete next week, and then obviously the PSN stuff as well. A new 2 to 1 client hopefully signed up yesterday for our sort of mentoring stuff. Yep. We've booked the room for the 2-day intensive course that we're going to be running, which I'm massively excited about. That I think that's going to be brilliant in June. And then obviously, David, we've still got that Johnston flipping legals, don't we?
So with that one, we're waiting on this one to complete, then we push on with that one.
Totally.
That's cool. For me, since the last podcast, we've had 7 deals into legals for investors. So we're averaging 2.8 deals a week now. So it's brilliant, man. We're over the moon with that. So the Albert Road assisted sale that you were at yesterday, that's been ongoing. So I've got an assisted sale going on in Glasgow. The cottage that we're doing as well, the planning was approved for the extension, so happy days with that one. The foundations and stuff like that are getting done at the minute. Johnson one in legals I was going to mention, which you've touched on. We actually got one, I call it the beer house. So within the network I've shown, I've not really put it anywhere else, but I've put it in the group chat. I've got a property that I'm buying in Glasgow in Balornock, and it's like just full of beer bottles, empty beer bottles. It's like literally they've been there for years, but there's no liquid in any of them. It must have all evaporated. It's crazy. So that one we've now got the go ahead to push on to complete that, hopefully in the next week or 2. So that'll be a brilliant one. So a bit of a business expansion for me as well, which I'll not talk about it now, but it's sort of been in the pipeline for a wee while, and that's going to be pushing on to an on-the-market avenue, just the same as yourself, really. And a second child.
Big one, innit?
Aye. So my daughter Callie was born on the 9th of March. So I had 2 weeks off there with Alex and yourself taking the reins in the respective businesses. And I bought a caravan. Pure random, isn't it? I know, but that's been pretty much my roundup for the last few weeks.
it's exciting, quite a mixed bag in there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's good. It's actually, see, when I was writing all this down yesterday, it's actually, you don't think about it all. And then you write it down and you're like, fucking hell, man.
It was only this week when we were looking at it that I was adding up how many deals I've done on my spreadsheet, and sometimes you just don't really notice what's going on week to week, don't you? Then you look, zoom out, bigger picture, and you're like, fuck, I'm actually doing quite a lot here.
Exactly, I know, 100%.
So it's been good, it's been a good year, it's only kind of showing signs of improving as well. I think there's going to be a lot more opportunities for investors and stuff like that from what I'm seeing. It's just, there seems to be a lot more deals coming, like I'm getting deals every day.
So many more. I think that was in the pipeline. You could kind of see it coming last year, and it's actually happened, do you know what I mean? It's almost as if the turn of the year, it's just been a total change.
Yeah, and what we were saying to Alex yesterday, sort of 2-to-1 client, is we're getting a lot of leads for people that are already on the market.
Yeah.
So if people are on the market and they're struggling to sell, they're reaching out to us to try and sell, and it's not always something you can do with them, but I think that didn't really happen so much last year and certainly the year before. So I've definitely seen a lot more of that, haven't you?
100%. I guess something you highlighted to me this morning as well, about the property sourcing network. So a year ago today, so what's the date today?
30th, I think.
30th, so the 30th of March last year, I put a post on there, so we were actually sitting at 36 members. The property sourcing network, we just pretty much formed the company, the business, and thinking, we were going to get hopefully 30 to 40 members, all doing a bit of education, a bit of sourcing, a bit of deal flow for us and the members as well. And we quickly surpassed that. So
the funniest thing that I seen was that we only had 3,700
on our
combined mailing lists.
The 3,700 in our mailing list, we'd done over a couple of hundred deals between us, separate businesses of course. And then a year now, we're sitting at 151 members. We've got over 15,000 on our mailing lists. We've done 400 odd deals between us. We've got a member of staff, Cameron. It's crazy what you can do, but I just want to touch on it.
Yeah, I didn't realise it'd been as long as that, to be honest. In my head, it's been 9 months for the last 5 months. Do you know what I mean? But it's been a good ride, isn't it?
Good, mate. So let's jump into the project then. So we're in Kirkliston, which is classed as Edinburgh?
Edinburgh City Council. Yeah, it's Edinburgh City Council local authority. So it's like a little village next to sort of Edinburgh Airport. So the airport's only 5 minutes away. So this one came through one of my advertising campaigns, God knows how long ago. From when the lead came in to when we actually bought it was 13 months. It was a woman that stayed here, and it was her uncle's house, and it was in probate. So it just took ages and ages to actually buy it. So I think I got the lead in the summer, and we didn't complete on it till the following January or something like that. I can't really remember the exact dates, but basically the woman didn't keep the best, and she was really struggling with the stairs. There's kind of stairs to come into the property as well, and she was quite isolated here, and she was just looking to move it on. So she kind of helped her move, took her to a couple of appointments, was dropping off shopping and stuff like that, just because I felt quite sorry for her where she lived and whatnot.
See, dead interesting, because one thing, how every deal is so different, and you bought this deal for yourself, but it's not just been a straightforward 13 months waiting for that. Do you know what I mean? It just shows the perseverance, and not every deal you just buy in 6 weeks or complete in 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Especially you're using investors' finance, still had to wait that long. And then the second thing is something that I've done as well, that you're helping them out as much as possible, just to try and get the deal over the line, but to make sure they're seen to as well. Do you know what I mean, with the shopping and all that?
Absolutely.
Good touch.
Yeah, absolutely. So we bought it, we got a home report done on it. The home report, there wasn't that many comparables in the area that had sold at the time, so it was quite difficult actually to work out the value of this, because obviously it doesn't look like it is today. It wasn't in terrible condition, but it wasn't fantastic. So I found it quite difficult to put an actual current market value on it. So normally when I buy something, I'll get a home report done on it, just to make sure there's no kind of nasties, we know what the value is and everything like that. And the home report actually came back at 165, so I was thinking it maybe be worth 150. So I was quite surprised at that 165. We bought it for 110, done the refurbishment, and I think we spent just shy of 40 grand on it, maybe 38 including staging and whatnot. And then we managed to get a new £210,000 home report on this. So it's a 3-bed mid-terrace. And obviously it's under offer now. It was supposed to complete this week past, and we're hoping that it's going to complete next week. There's been a bit of a hold up with our buyers. There's a bit of a chain, so they're waiting for their loan papers. So as soon as they got that, we can conclude missives and then complete. So stripping it a wee bit back then, because you've been into quite a lot of detail. So
how it was sourced then, so through your Facebook ads?
Facebook ads it was, yeah, Facebook ads. So again, it's probably about 2 years ago or something like that. I'm kicking on. It seems crazy to still be sat here.
You've had good success with your own projects through the Facebook ads as well.
The last like 4 or 5 I think has been through, that we've actually bought, has been through that.
Yeah. Because it's a hot topic within the network. Obviously, you know, it's people starting, which we're going to talk about, with very limited money, and then it's as if it's trying to get to this marketing stage as soon as possible. Sometimes we were talking to Alex yesterday, and sometimes there's just Emma, sorry, there's just no rush. Sometimes you just need to do the sort of apprenticeship as such and get the legwork in, and then sort of look at that. But once you're in a position to do that, it proves how lucrative it can be.
And like we always say, like, there's a big skill set behind getting someone's name and phone number to turning that into an actual deal that works for everybody. So some people just, I don't know, I don't think it's wise just to jump straight into it.
I think it's so, see in this industry, I think the marketing is so underestimated, because how many times you've been on Instagram and a pair of trainers pop up and you go, oh fuck, I'm going to buy them, they're nice, done that, say, got a sale. But for us, it's like starting the marketing, getting the marketing right, speaking to your audience, getting them to contact the lead form, you phoning the lead, you arranging the viewing, you negotiating a price, you getting a buyer, you getting into legals, getting it through legals and all the shite that comes with that, and then completion. It's crazy if you think about it.
So many moving parts, isn't it? So it's definitely not easy. Whereas with an estate agent, you put an offer in, they say aye, your buyer puts the offer in, and then it's pretty, you know what I mean, there's not as much involvement because the agent deals with most of it. So it's a bit more kind of hands off, whereas this thing you've got to do everything, don't you? But it's good. So we've got a decent price agreed. It took a little bit longer to sell than anticipated. Obviously my estate agency for sale board's outside, but I put it up, I think it was the first week of December, we had it live, we had it ready to go, and then had a wee bit of interest, a few people through the door, and then we had quite a lot of negative feedback on it. People were saying, as I was saying to you before earlier, a woman came out to see it, and they said, it won't be for us, but I think the right buyer will pick it up as a project. Like, I just spent 40 grand in the place and someone saying as a project, like just the cheek of some people. But so then I got somebody in to fix up a couple of wee snagging bits and whatnot, and then we actually put it on the market with McHugh and Fraser. So I know them pretty well in there, and they've got ESPC. So in Edinburgh, ESPC is still massive. It's like, I think it might even be bigger than Rightmove in terms of engagement. I think it is, the statistics on it. So obviously with me not being a solicitor, I've only got Rightmove, Zoopla on the market. So we've done that. They managed to find us a buyer probably in February, I think, by the time it all went through. So fingers crossed it completes, and then we'll have to go into the sort of bigger numbers, more detailed analysis, if you know what I mean.
Yep, definitely. So any sort of hiccups or anything like that when ongoing with the flip?
Yeah, so not so much hiccups. The refurb itself wasn't too bad really. The property wasn't that bad condition. There was a wee bit of flooring that was that we had to get fixed up. The garden was a complete mess. That was a bit of a shambles. I had a gardener lined up that done my project in Livingston last year, and he came out, gave me a price, agreed the price, and then boom, radio silence. Like, just never heard from the guy again. He was booked in to start that week. So I managed to get a guy that I know that's done bits and pieces for me in the borders to come up. Now he stays in like Langham or something like that, which is like basically Carlisle. So he came up here, spent the weekend and done all the garden for me, which was mental. So that was really it. Other than that, we went for a kind of different style with the kitchen. This one's a wee bit of a nicer area than some of the ones that I've done before in like Livingston and whatnot. So we've put tiles in the bathroom. The kitchen's a little bit higher quality. It's from Hague Kitchens. It's quite nice. It's
much did that cost then?
I can't remember off the top of my head, mate, no, but it wasn't like crazy expensive, but it was just that slightly more premium. Because it's quite nice, and I just fancied doing something a little bit different. We painted the outside. The garden I wanted to put turf down, but because of the time of year, November, December time, it just would have died. So we had to put like bark chips and stones, tidied it up, took trees down. Neighbour wasn't very happy. We took the trees down because she said it was less privacy and whatnot. But other than that, it's been fairly smooth except for the sale. But from what I understand from other estate agents that I know in Edinburgh, like seemingly coming out of the pandemic, Kirkliston was like a hot spot. Like everybody wanted to get out of the city and get more space and whatnot. And then it's the last kind of 6 months or so, it's the froth just came off the market. And actually, if you look on the market now, there's quite a lot of properties that are sitting that are not selling. So it's a wee bit of just a change in dynamic in the market over here. But as I say, we did manage to find a buyer, and fingers crossed it goes through all right.
Good, mate. So in terms of like funding then, how was this one funded?
So I work with a private investor, so he's 100% funded everything in here, which has been good. He's based overseas, so I sourced the property, managed all the trades guys, got all the materials and everything like that, dealt with all the utilities, the council tax, actually helped the seller move. She got housed by the council to a wee place in Ormiston, which is like down by the sea, East Lothian. So I was like filling up my car with boxes and stuff like that and driving it down to help her move. So there was quite a lot over and above in this one. But yeah, in terms of the funding structure, it works for both of us. And then I'll deal with like the sales process and everything like that as well. So I would like to sell this one through my own estate agency, which is what I'd done originally, list it, but it'd be good to get a sale. But sometimes you've just got to drop the ego and say, look,
100%,
I need this sold, so how can I get it sold in the best possible way? And I think with McHugh and Fraser having ESPC, it just totally made sense.
Yeah, 100%. So that's good, pretty much a good well-rounded view of the property, mate. So
I think in hindsight, probably what I would do now, knowing what I know, is something like this where it wasn't in really bad condition, good area. We probably would have just sold it straight on. Right. Because instead of doing the refurb and dealing with all the trades and putting out another 40 grand in spend, we probably would have just done what we done in Birdie House. Bought it for the 110, put it on the market, the same day, and try and get an offer out of it home report. And to be honest, we probably would have made more money doing that.
Really, aye?
Well, pretty much, yeah. Be similar, but maybe even slightly more, and probably a quicker time scale.
It's definitely the strategy, isn't it? Totally, if you can get these digs, that's what we're going to do with this beer house one that I'm talking about. Probably just, what is the point in doing the refurb if you're going to make? I think there's probably a cut-off where you're making 10 grand more or something. You're maybe thinking, but even then you might just be hassle. It's a hassle.
Your return on investment as well. If you're putting another X amount of money into the refurb, your return on investment goes down quite a lot, doesn't it? So that's what all the big boys do. So I think like properties like that beer house one, you'd maybe have to put to auction or something like that, because it's quite unique, it's quite minging inside in it, whereas something like this was alright, so it probably would have done okay on the market, maybe take a little bit off home report, but you're still laughing. But I think the ones that are really bad, you have to either trade them through auction or maybe even just build them out and do the work. But yeah, it's definitely food for thought for the next ones, like definitely.
It's a brilliant strategy, something we'll go into quite a bit in the 2-day intensive as well, with all these sort of different strategies that we've picked up on. So so let's go into today's sort of topic then, which we're going to discuss property sourcing with limited or no money really. So I guess it's most sources start this. People see property sourcing as a kind of entry level into property, which I suppose it can be in a way, but you'll hear me and Matt speak about like there's definitely a skill set involved in property sourcing, 100%, that people just don't realise, especially when they're getting into it, and they don't realise the work it takes actually to get it off the ground. The network you need to do, picking up contacts, and there's just so much, getting out doing viewings, getting your face known, social media, so much to it, isn't there?
Oh,
so most property sourcers will have limited funds available, so this is just a little bit of advice, tips, if you like, to help you along your way if you're in that situation.
I think the good thing about me and you, David, is we don't speak about stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah, exactly.
And the biggest advice I can give anyone that's looking to get started in sourcing is just exactly the way that I've done it, because that's all I know, if you know what I mean. So in my head there's such a clear roadmap for people to start in sourcing. Like, you look at properties on the market through estate agents on Rightmove. It's a complete grind in the beginning. You partner up with someone that's got buyers, like we do all the time in the PSN community, sell a couple of deals with them, learn what kind of deals sell, learn about the due diligence process and how to set up a deal and everything like that. Make a bit of money co-sourcing, and then once you've got money actually from the venture, then you can use that to get a couple of websites built and start Facebook advertising and stuff like that, and then it doesn't cost you anything, and you're learning the whole process all the time.
I think that's a good point you touched on with they make the money co-sourcing, because I feel like what a lot of sourcers do, new starts to the property industry, is they'll make money through co-sourcing a deal and will spend it. And I think that is a totally wrong thing to do. And listen, it's each to their own, because if it's a side income you're looking for to top up your wage, then fair enough. But if you're looking to try and progress and make a bit of a business out of it, then you need to be banking that money, and then you need to, you know, 6 months or a year down the line, you're maybe sitting there with hopefully a healthy pot that you can then start looking at marketing and whatnot, you know.
100%. So how would you start today then if you had no money? Then what would you do?
So for me, it would just what we pretty much say to everybody, it is a grind. It's for, I feel like, and I always say this, I'm a big believer in you create your own luck, but I felt like I was lucky at the start. I definitely do, because I probably didn't need to do as much of the groundwork as most people will, and it's purely because I got lucky with my first deal, and it was getting on all the social media pages. Somebody came forward, they had overseas buyers, she was a letting agent, ended up going to do 10 deals with them. So it was a case of people kept coming to me when they knew I had these buyers. I was co-sourcing, I was finding my own deals, and I was just selling it through these guys. And then I grew my network really, really large. So for me, it's a different sort of route in. I was quite lucky in that sense, but I still did have to go and do all the, you know, on the market viewings. Maybe not as much as some people, but I still done them. And I was still, for me, co-sourcing, it was more people bringing me deals because I had these buyers, which was great. Do you know what I mean? But so that was definitely, there's no getting away from it. You need to put that work in. You need to be on the market. You need to be going to all the networking events 100% at the start. I know you're a wee bit with the networking and stuff, maybe not as, but for me, I was going to them. I was trying to get my face known. I was going on the calls. I think it was a lot of the Zoom calls and stuff like that at the time, and then the events came in. So it was COVID sort of time, so I was trying to do all of that, just trying to get my face known. And because I did have these buyers, it was like try and get out as much as possible, but try and do the viewings, try and get with the right people, try and, you know, you suss out who's good to work with, who's not good to work with, but grow your network. Get into networks as well. Not just saying that because we've got a network. It's like it's key. I think this industry is very, you know, you're on your own unless you get a business partner. But even then, it's maybe just two of yous. You need to get into networks, different networks, not just maybe one or two networks, and really just try and, you know, make your marketing. You know, get involved. Don't just sit in the sidelines, and just really try and come out of your comfort zone as much as possible. Really. Yeah,
totally. And just like you said, the way that I kind of got started was just looking at properties on the market. So I never done any sort of training courses or anything like that. So I was just looking at like YouTube videos, podcasts, books, audio books, and just built up like a really, really good baseline knowledge. Absolutely. And then from there, I was taking that into viewings with estate agents, and I probably went 6 months at least of viewing properties on the market.
So you've done that?
I 100%. Mate, I was viewing 5-6 properties a day and all that. And my biggest mistake was I was going out and viewing them, taking all the photos, coming home, doing all the due diligence. What would the end value be? How much would the refurb be? What would the rent out for? Speaking to local agents and stuff like that. And then I was just too nervous to put the offers in, because back then the market was like crazy red hot. So like if you were putting an offer in 25% below home report, you would have got laughed out the door. So I knew that, and I was like, nah, I'm not offering on that. And then eventually when I did come out of the comfort zone and started to do it, I did get a few deals through it. And I partnered with obviously Joseph Tott, who we know pretty well, and he had this mailing list at the time, which was probably, I don't know, 3,000, 2,500 or something like that when I took it. And sold a few deals with him that way, and it worked really, really well. And then just exactly what we've just said, I used that money, got a wee landing page made up, and then started doing Facebook campaigns. And now it's just the point where it just tips and you're too busy with the off-market stuff and everything else you do to do these on-market viewings. But I probably have a thought once a week, like I need to be doing more on-market stuff, because especially just now there's so many opportunities out there. So that's definitely what I would do, is just focus on the market, learn the craft, and then at the same time be building up your kind of personal brand, as you say. Get out to as many events as you can. Join any sort of networks, get in all the Facebook groups you can get into, start posting on social media, telling people what you're doing. If you're out at viewings, taking me photos and stuff like that of property viewings that you're at. If it's a really horrible bathroom or something like that, and it's good kind of clicks and stuff like that. And then it's just consistency. Once you do that, like what we were saying to Alex yesterday, is it's a total slog in the beginning, but there's no getting away from it. So you just have to not be disheartened when things go your way, and just keep going, and eventually your luck turns. I think social media is key at the start, and it's
it's easy. It probably sounds like obvious, but to some people, it's just so out of their comfort zone. Putting your face on camera, even just getting out and about. I think it's an awareness thing that we were talking about again yesterday. It's like, because me at the start, I was shit scared of my mates going like, "Oh, fuck you up to, what do you think you're doing now? What do you think you're a property guy and all that?" Do you know what I mean? So I was to be fair, I didn't really get much of that, but you got the odd comment from the odd mate. It was a bit of a laugh, but it still made you feel a bit uneasy.
Totally.
So I was, you were always worried. Then you had your parents, my dad, very old school, and like, "What are you doing? You had a good job offshore," and all this sort of stuff. So you were always just trying to manage all of that, but I just decided, I changed my name on LinkedIn and I changed my name on Instagram, David Smart Property, and then people start seeing, what's he up to, and then literally that is how I got my first 2 deals. It's actually with my mate last night that sort of helped me out, and when he kind of asked me what I was up to, I told him I've done this property thing, done a bit of education, blah blah blah, and he says, "Oh, I know somebody that's looking to sell." I went to his house, viewed his flat in Dumbarton, packaged it up as best I could, and that's when I sold that first deal. And then it was my same mate, the second deal, and that's just purely by me changing my name.
Some mate.
I think brilliant, I know. Don't you think you get a kickback? Sorry, So that's just purely by, wee subtle changes in my social media and just showing, going out and when you're out and about doing viewings at properties and stuff, like having the awareness to like take a photo outside, maybe take a selfie. People love seeing your face because it's dead relatable. A photo of the bathroom, the kitchen, viewing number 1 of the day, viewing number 2, just anything at all. You should be trying to aim to do quite, a good handful of stories every day on your Instagram, and it just all it's doing is sparking people to go, what are they up to, what are you doing, and you never know what can come off the back of that.
100%, and just being consistent, and yeah. I think some of the biggest challenges for people with social media is they just don't know what to post.
Yeah.
It's not their comfort zone, but they also just don't really know what they should be doing. So like I just said to somebody yesterday on one of the calls, like, just have a look at what other people in the industry are doing, and then just pretty much copy, not exactly what they're doing, but it'll give you ideas of your own that you can build off. But with the social media stuff, as you know, up until the turn of the year when we took Cameron on, mine was fucking terrible, wasn't it? Like, it's just, my Instagram's just all I was late to the party with Instagram as it was, but it was just all photos of deals that I'd done. But I actually quite liked that because it was like, there's no fluff involved in that. It's like, this is the deal that I've done, this is the numbers on it, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then you just build up, like, I heard someone speaking about your Instagram and social media as like a portfolio.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got like a portfolio of content there that people can use and look whenever they want to see. So it's absolutely crucial, as you say, but it's just getting through that comfort zone.
It's just, if you just try and simplify it and you just think, because you're probably going to have a full-time job or you'll be doing something else. Yeah. If you just simplify it and think to yourself, anything property related I do, there's an opportunity to at least create an Instagram story.
100%.
There's an opportunity, and even if you're sitting on your laptop looking at Rightmove, photo scrolling for, looking for the next deal, it can be so simple,
100%. So actionable points to take away then for people, if anybody's kind of listening, is how do you, you've maybe set up your Instagram, you're looking to start on market sourcing, how would you go about that?
So yeah, I mean, I think one of the sort of tips that I've got is Rightmove is only one platform. Yep. So a lot of people just think going to Rightmove. Now you've got other platforms like Zoopla, obviously, and believe it or not, some smaller agents will just use Zoopla. They won't use Rightmove, so it's always worth a wee check. And then, like you say, you've got the ASPC, you've got ESPC, and you've got ASPC in Aberdeen. I think you've got one in Dundee area as well.
Yeah, so that's a big one for me. I use not so much anymore, but I use a site called PlaceBuzz.
That's what I've got there. So the next ones I was going to say was like Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace, and PlaceBuzz.
I've had quite a few deals off Gumtree, a few auction referrals, but actually that first deal that we ever done together, I found that on Gumtree. But PlaceBuzz is good because it pulls all the different listings from all the different sites into one place. So I got a deal last year through PlaceBuzz that was on BSPC, which is like the Scottish Borders version of ESPC. I didn't even know it was a thing, and it was on there with like a wee local independent estate agency that doesn't, local independent lawyer, that also does estate agency. So they're obviously not going to be wanting shelling out for Rightmove and stuff because they won't do enough volume. Yeah. But like little golden nuggets like that, where just probably not that many people know about it. as opposed to Rightmove. So just the Place Buzz is a good one.
Yeah, I definitely. It's one that I've actually never used. I've heard you going about it loads of times. So I like Gumtree and I like Facebook Marketplace. I just think if you just check them maybe twice a week, you just never know what's going to pop up. I'm looking at one now. I think half of Scotland's looked at it actually, but it's been on fire. And the guy's just sorting out insurance, but he says that we're getting first dibs on it. It's you get people in and out constantly. So, but yeah, that's just from Gumtree, I think that was. I think as well, what I've got down, we've kind of touched on as well, you just can't network enough. I don't think at the start. I know it's time consuming, but this sourcing and being in property and trying to grow your network and ultimately trying to raise investor finance and stuff, which is what you all sort of want to be doing to help yourself scale, you need to get your face known. Nobody can do business with you if they don't know you type thing. So I think that's quite a big one for me, and just getting yourself out there as much as possible. But the next one for me would be practice packaging deals, like the viewings, you know what I mean? Like
I've got quite a good story about that.
Have you? Go for it.
I work with quite a few guys that have got quite big portfolios, like local guys. I not necessarily work with them. I was out for dinner with them one of them this week. Like they're my friends, but like they're probably more than twice the age of me. But when they used to do loads of off-market stuff like back-to-backs. They were doing leaflet campaigns and stuff. This is probably going back like 15 years ago. And when I first started it, he gave me like a, what's that thing, lockout agreement?
Yeah.
He gave me a lockout agreement, and we were going to see one of his brother's properties that we were looking to sell. And he goes to me, I went up to Dundee and sold one of his houses actually with Callum Thompson.
Right.
And on the back of that, he was like, my brother's looking to sell this, come out. And he actually posed as the seller. He says, when we go through the door, I'll be the seller, and you pitch it as if you're just coming in afresh. How fucking clever was that to do that? And like, it was brilliant. Like, I took so much away from it. And then when we got in the car back, he was giving me feedback and all that.
Was he?
I was just thinking about that this week. Like, he was like, I'll pose as the seller, you ask me the questions, and he was being proper serious. It was honestly, he was like, no, I think that's too low. I completely forgot about it until recently.
Who was that? Sorry.
One of my friends, Stuart, he's from the Borders. I think they had well over 100 properties at one point. Really, really clever guy, but it was brilliant. And
I see a situation like that, man. I just chucked it out. I couldn't take it serious, man. It's not laughing.
He was taking it proper serious. I was like, fuck, I better get in gear.
Get the character.
I was like, with this pure lockout agreement, But it was brilliant. But just when you said practice, like 100%, like practice makes perfect, as they say, isn't it? But it's just a learning experience getting through the door.
It's because I find what a lot of news sources do as well is they think they've got a sniff of a deal, and then it's all of a sudden it's just, whoa, how did I do this? How did I do that? And you package it. That's one of the things I actually did do at the start, because I was working offshore and I was like trying to get into property and I was trying to learn about it, and I was going into Rightmove in my spare time and looking at deals. I had a calculator and different things to help me out, and I was just trying to package them. I was just packaging deals, even although I had no price agreed, no nothing. I was just seeing like what would this look like if the number worked at that, you know what I mean?
When I used to work with Joseph, right, he obviously done, was it Samuel Lynch training or something down south?
I'm not sure.
But when I used to work with him, before, none of us had really had a clue what we were doing. Joseph had done quite a few deals at this point, and he had a decent sized list, right? But what he used to do is you could package up a deal with all the numbers and all that, the refurb, the photos and everything like that, and then you didn't even have to agree a price to send it to him. You sent it to him on the basis that that's the price that you would like to get. So we were putting out, I remember one time I put about 5 deals out with his mail list. I didn't have a single price agreed for them. But I was like, we should offer 45k or put them out. Like,
what happens when he gets,
I don't know, you have to go back to the agency, by the way, they take 45? No, oh well, too bad. It was, like, I honestly asked him about it next to the museum. We didn't even have prices agreed, and he was like, yeah, just send it over. I was like, right, okay. So
I'm not sure about that.
I know.
Because he has his ways.
Aye, that's it. But in terms of like dealing with agents and stuff like that, like I always say, I think people put agents on like a pedestal when they're new. Like, oh, these people are involved in property, and a lot of the time, in my opinion, estate agents are just there to open the door and send out home reports. Like, they don't really know an awful lot about property. They probably don't really care, and they just want to do their job. And so that's obviously generalising them. Obviously, you'll get a lot of good ones, but I think like avoiding all this kind of just come off a training course, BMV, BRR.
That's gone. The days are gone.
buzzwords.
Just do
Dropping
do
in
not do
donuts.
that. Aye, do not do that. Honestly, if you're new and you're trying to get in the industry, just don't go into the estate agents with donuts and cakes and all that, man. Jesus, no way.
And but I think, and then obviously go out, meet with them, just because, and it works a lot better with local independent estate agents as well, because the big boys just don't really care, do they? So try and find a couple of local agents in your area and just build a relationship with them. Tell them what it is you're looking for. Say you're maybe looking to buy yourself, or working for clients, or whatever it is you're looking to do. Go out, view, and then I think the most important thing that we always talk about is just doing a bit of fact finding on the property. Like, what's the seller's situation? Have a look on Rightmove Sold. What did they buy it for? How long have they had it? Have they had any offers already? Because if you're going in and offering 75k and someone's offered 80 and they've knocked it back, they're not going to accept your 75k. Exactly. You're wasting everybody's time. So the more kind of fact find you can do, it just frees up your time to focus on these opportunities that might actually be opportunities. And then the big one is the offering, isn't it? People always ask, like, oh, so when I find a property, do I have to put a formal offer in through my solicitor? And I always say, like, that's the very last thing you should be doing. It's like, it's all verbal offers, all very loose. Because it was actually Joseph again, touching on him, like, I'm sure he told me a story where he put a formal offer in and couldn't sell it, and the estate agent was like,
exactly, burns bridges,
wastes everybody's time, waste your solicitor's time as well, waste your own time, and just makes yourself look silly. So I normally will say, like, do you think the seller would be open to an offer of around 80,000? And they go away and phone them, yep, the seller says 80,000 would be fine, you can go away, package it up and sell the deal on that basis.
You're taking the pressure off yourself, and it's no committing. Like that's a big thing. Just never commit. It's always, like you said, it's the way you word things. Like, do you think they would accept this? You know, what do you think of this price? You're just trying to. This is the sort of skill as well. You're trying to get that figure out the agent without committing.
Totally.
You know, that's the thing. And then if they say, oh yeah, they would accept that. All right, okay, good. I have a couple of buyers in mind. You know, I work with my uncle or something like that. He buys properties. Let me go and ask him.
I need to speak to my business partner.
Oh, he's on holiday now. Yeah, absolutely. So.
But there's just a clear roadmap for people, I think, because you can definitely get started in property no money. I mean, and especially on the market stuff just now, there's lots of people in the community that's doing a lot of deals on the market. So it's a big opportunity if people are willing to put the time and the work in. But I think for me, the biggest thing is just about the education. Like, what's made a difference to me in my sort of journey, I hate that word, but it's a journey so far.
I always try and replace that word and I can't even think it, would you?
I know, totally, but it's just because I put so much time in the beginning into learning what I'm talking about and speaking to people and learning from them, and it just sets you in good stead, because if you go out there you don't really have a clue what you're saying, the agent will be able to spot that a mile away, and you get so many people like that. So just try and learn as much as you can, and then it's just hard graft to get those deals in, isn't it?
Absolutely. So that's quite good.
Hopefully quite a lot of kind of content.
Definitely. I think there's going to be a bit of a summary, but I think it's pretty much touched on a lot of things that we can get yourself involved in networks, get out and do the viewings, do the legwork, practice, packaging the deals, even if it's not a deal, just gives you that practice to, when you do get a deal, I suppose. Use all the portals, don't just use Rightmove. Just get yourself out there, social media and stuff like that as well. I mean, you literally can do it with no money, because once you do get a deal, it's a case of, if it's not me and Matt, somebody else will have buyers. You bring it to us, we look at it, the numbers are really good, we'll tell you right away within about 5 minutes if the deal is a deal. And then it's a case of,
right, a deal,
I know you'll say discount this. I just say if the numbers work all the time, and the numbers working is, of course it's discount, but it doesn't always need to be massive discount. If you're looking at something that needs absolutely everything done inside it, there's that much of an uplift, so a small discount would probably be okay. But generally, you're looking at good, decent discounts. I'm not going to put a figure on it, it's easy just to say 20%, but I've got buyers that buy stuff 5-10%, depends on the area, good capital growth. So you won't hear me saying this is a good deal, because a good deal to somebody in a really good area of Glasgow that's going to give you £950 a month rent, you're going to get capital growth. There's buyers there for that might only take a 5% discount, whereas you've got other properties in other areas, maybe lesser, cheaper prices. You might need 15, 20, 25% discounts. Maybe the capital growth's not quite there. Maybe the rent isn't that high. But you're looking at, if you can get a good I always think just a BRR, you know, if you can get a right good BRR for somebody, which is leaving less than 15 grand in the deal, totally. 250 per month after refinance, that's always a good starting point for somebody, I think, for sourcers especially, instead of thinking, flips, buy-to-lets, HMOs, SAs. If you just look at, like, most investors love to refinance and build a portfolio that way. So if you can kind of just look at, right, how do these numbers fit in? If I offer X amount, does it give me, you know, less than 15 grand left in? Does it give me £250 a month deposit cash flow? You know, all money out within 3-4 years, whatever.
Totally. Yeah, for me, it's the discount drives everything, as you know. Like, our skill set as sourcers and way we make our money is by negotiating the best possible price for the client.
Yep.
And if you get an amazing discount on something, you're well within your means to charge a bigger fee. So my service is all based on getting things at the best possible price, because by the time someone pays, you've got to warrant the sourcing fee as well.
Absolutely, I agree.
Like, by the time someone pays the full price for the property, there's 6% ADS, their legal fees, their sourcing fees, any refurbishment that it needs. A lot of the time they're paying way over market value, so even if you get something 30% off, you've still got to pay ADS. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. So it's not really 30% off, is it?
Yeah.
So the discount drives everything for me. So when people send me stuff, it's like, I've got a property here, the home report on it's 80 grand, and I think the seller would take 75. And I'm like, aye, but 75 plus 3 grand sourcing fee plus their legals, so they're in for 79. They might have to spend a bit of money on it, so they're paying way over, plus the stamp duty. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's no deal in that.
No, the percentage of discount there is very low. If you're talking the lower end and it's like 40 grand and you get it for 35, then absolutely, because the percentage is much higher, plus you're still under the 6%.
See, even stuff like that for me, I don't think that works for me, because you're still paying 38 grand for the property by the time they pay the fee.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I
depends what type of deal it is, you know, if there's a bit of refurb in it, but I've got clients that will buy just, you know, the below ADS, a lot overseas guys mostly, to be fair, but that's the thing, there's no one size fits all with deals, there's different piles for all different deals.
We were saying that yesterday, sometimes you send deals out and you think there's no fucking way that's going to sell. Before you know it, boom, I'll take that, no problem. And then there's other times where you get deals where it's a big discount on it and you're like, oh, this is going to fly off the shelf, man, and it sticks, and you're sitting there with your tail between your legs. It's crazy. You've just got to get in front of the right eyes, don't you?
We had one recently and it was non-standard construction. It was for Barry Wilson, actually. Non-standard construction needed a bit of work, but it was like, this is going to be a right struggle to sell. We knew it, you know, Barry couldn't sell it, came to us, we thought, let's just give it a bash. And the only person that bought it was a girl, because she had two in the same street.
Aye.
That's why she bought it, you know what I mean? So that would be a sold otherwise. So yeah, that's good. So do you want to finish up with some question and answers then, Cameron?
How are we looking for time, mate?
We're on 46 minutes.
Aye, that's fine.
Perfect as always.
So, first set of questions are from Lucas Houston. What's the best way to scale a sourcing business to requiring staff?
Don't. I think people think like they need staff and everything like that, but see, actually, if you set yourself up right, like, I think about this quite a lot, right? So in my business just now, I'm phoning all the leads, I'm booking my own diary, I'm doing all the viewings for the decent off-market stuff. And I'm thinking I could easily get somebody in, pay them a salary, phone all the leads, plonk them on a desk with a phone, they can go to some of the off-market stuff, and then I'm thinking, see, if I'd done that, what the fuck would I actually do? What would I do every single day? Because it does take up quite a lot of your day, but I really enjoy it, so I've not went down that route.
Yeah.
But I don't think you necessarily need staff in a sourcing business until you get to like a big scale, because actually it's hard work and everything like that, but it's not that time intensive sometimes. A lot of the time you're just speaking on the phone, or you're going out to see sellers, particularly when you're just dealing off market, because it's not that time intensive waiting for the right opportunity to come in, is the way my business is set up. Obviously yours is slightly different.
I mean, I would probably disagree slightly, just purely because right now I couldn't do, it's just the way my business model is set up, and it's all very much, we do our own due diligence at all the deals. We've got, you know, the big mailing list and whatnot, so we get a large deal flow, and I couldn't do it without Wojciech, I couldn't do it without Alex now. Do you know what I mean? I could still be doing it without Alex, but now that I've had Alex, I've got Alex, and the work that he does, he's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So I couldn't do it now without him. Plus, you know, I know we've got developments on the go. We've got the network that we put a lot more time into now. I've got my letting agency. there's a lot of plates spinning there as well, so it's like sourcing at the level we're at now, especially the way my business is operating, it's like somebody has to be on it every single day, do you know what I mean? So for me, I think when you get to, there's absolutely no rush to do it, because most sourcers will go through most of their sourcing career as such solo or with a business partner, and what tends to happen is most people will go off in different directions and maybe still keep an element of sourcing, but they'll go into I don't know, maybe want to build a portfolio, or just go into flips or something like that. Me might have built full scale businesses out of sourcing, and you know, that's obviously slightly different. So I think there isn't any rush, but there'll become a point where it depends what way you want to take your business. If you want to take it the way Matt's took it, that's fine. If you want to take it the way I've took it, which is slightly different, a little bit more labour intensive, then you probably will hit a point where you're stressed out your box. You can't work on the business, you're constantly working in the business, which was a big thing for me. I felt like I had to take myself out of it, especially when I had other plates spinning. And I think that was the time then when I says I need to get somebody in to do this day-to-day stuff. So for me, yeah, it becomes obvious, in my opinion. When you're just getting, you physically can't do anything else apart from work in your business, on sourcing, answering the phones to sourcers, your co-sourcing mate, answering the phone to investors, speaking to agents, speaking to the solicitors. Next thing you know, your day's done.
I think like you just need to warrant having staff in there, because a lot of people want to be the big gaffer.
No, that's no chance. No.
I think like even you have to be spending a lot of money on ads to have enough leads in every day to make it a full-time job for somebody. You have to be spending a lot of money to do that. So like, except for the packaging up deals and stuff like that and going out to on-market stuff, what really else is there to do? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think you just have to, it'll become apparent when you need to take on staff, isn't it? But in terms of the best way, like you say, you just have to decide what direction you want to go in. But yeah, there's no right or wrong way to do it, is there?
No.
This question is from Taylor Property Solutions. I'm struggling to get end value on properties where there are very little or very old comparables. What do I do to get past this?
So for me, that's where an estate agent comes in, a local agent. I think, and this again, it seems daft, but a lot of people, it's out their comfort zone, phoning, getting on the phones this day and age. It's all messages, WhatsApp, and you know, people don't want to get on the phone. And I think you need to just kind of, and this is just a small thing, because even now, I still prefer to WhatsApp and stuff like that as well. I prefer just I can't be asked when people phone me. Sometimes, you know, I'm just like, just text me. Do you know?
I'm the opposite to that. Do you know that?
You're a phoner. You're definitely a phoner. I'm more a messenger. So I would say, like, just phone the agents. Even if there's no comparables within a quarter mile, go to a half mile. If not, go to a mile. But then a mile, you're a bit like, oh, you know, that could take you to a totally different area of that town or city or whatever. So you need to be very careful. But if it's a very niche property, going a mile is fine. You know, if you're looking at a 4-bed cottage where there's absolutely none of them really, going a mile, because that's all the surveyors will do anyway. But I just think phone the local agents, because they are the people that are going to know. You know, they're the ones that most in the know in that area. That would be, and I would phone 2 or 3 of them, not just one of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So you want to do your own independent analysis. You should be doing this really for every property anyway. So you want to do your own independent analysis on finding like-for-like properties. If you can't do that, as David says, zoom out, make sure you're on Rightmove for current properties, Rightmove sold for sold comparable properties, so looking at both of them. And then if there's a home report, you could phone the surveyor that's done the home report and just say, look, what would this be worth done up? If it's already been sold with an agent, look, this property you've got here, if I was to come in and put a new kitchen and bathroom in it, what's this going to be worth? And then you've got your own analysis, the surveyor hopefully giving you something, or maybe another surveyor that you know, the agent that's selling it, who's obviously going to have their bias and is probably going to talk up the property, and then you can phone maybe 2 or 3 other estate agents that work in that locality, and then you're just building up a really solid picture of your own stuff, and then from third party stuff as well, and just kind of be conservative with the end value.
Think as well, like, why don't you ask, if you're in a network, ask the network, anybody ever dealt in a property here, you know, anybody willing to have a wee look with me, you know, some stuff like that as well.
That's it, just have people you can lean on, isn't it? But you just want to be doing as much as possible, just rather than just guessing.
I think so, and I think like it's easy just to jump onto Rightmove and see a comparable, and it's like, oh, that must be it, but one comparable is not enough. I think, like you say, go into the buy section, go into the sold section. I reckon you should still be phoning agents anyway.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? You should be doing all of this to get a full, you know, well-rounded overview of what the value is.
Totally.
Next question is from Lucas again. Best methods to generate guaranteed cash flow for a sourcing business?
I think sourcing is obviously fee income, isn't it? So there is no guaranteed way. The only thing you can do is just become super established so that deals gravitate towards you. You've got a marketing campaign set up that's feeding you leads, and then what's really crucial in my business is I work with a lot of one-to-one clients, so I've got a really solid bank of maybe like, I don't know, 11 buyers or something like that, and they all trust me. I've worked with all of them before. We've got a really good relationship with lots of them, so that's good for me in terms of kind of systemizing it, because you know as soon as a good deal comes in, it just goes straight back out the door. So there's no real way you can do it. You just have to build yourself up and be established enough in the marketplace.
I totally agree. I think it's just about having different avenues, and you need to earn the avenues. So at the start you're just kind of on Rightmove trying to find your deals, and then what Lucas and Rio have got now is they've got this seller. I don't know if it's through an agent or not, but he's got loads of properties. He's a portfolio landlord, and I think he's just looking to sell, and he's just put his trust in them to offload everyone.
Yeah.
And it seems to be coming in dribs and drabs. You know, he's sent us a few, and it's just a case of, right, there's that seller, they're building credibility because they're able to place these deals. And then it's a case, like, that guy could go and tell somebody else, and then you maybe look to get maybe a wee agent contact down the line that's going to give you properties. So there you go, then you've got a right move, you've got an agent, you've maybe got a bit of word of mouth, then you start your marketing campaign, and it's just trying to build these different avenues. It doesn't come all at once at the start. Totally. It takes time to build that. 100%. And that's where we go back to saying, you know, it's just about doing that legwork at the start to give yourself these opportunities.
Next question is from Taylor. How to persuade or negotiate a discount on a property effectively?
So I think a lot of people make the mistake of just pinging in 25% below market value offers. I think you have to know what the seller's situation is. You have to make sure that it's a good fit. Like, if you know they bought it for 90,000 and you're going to offer them 70,000, they're probably not going to accept that. So what have they bought it for? Have they had any offers on it before? What's their pain points? What's their needs? What's the outstanding mortgage balance on it? And in that way you don't waste anybody's time, but you just have to build. If it's off market or on market, it's slightly different, isn't it? The on market's kind of hit and hope, but you can pre-qualify it, as we said before. But with the off market stuff, it's totally different. It's like, why have they reached out to you to sell it off market? What situation are they in? How quickly are they looking to sell? Do they have any mortgages outstanding, secured loans? What would they be happy with? A lot of the time when you're dealing with off market sellers and they need to sell quickly for whatever reason, they'll tell you, look, I've got 35 grand left on the mortgage. If you could get me that and enough to move on, I'd be happy with that. So it's not always about you offering. I always try and get them to say a figure first. Like, and people quite often don't want to tell you, but you just say, look, in order for this to work, I need to know where you're at, because if you're looking for crazy money, it's not going to be possible. Like that example we had with that portfolio with Alex, the seller said to him, categorically, I cannot take any less than 10% discount. And I spoke to the guy on the phone and I said, look mate, it's going to have to be 25% discount. That's the way it is. And he was like, oh, I don't think I would take that. And then I said, look, well, your best bet is just leaving it on with the auction company you're with. And then he came back to me on text and said, look, we take 25% off, just because you're being totally honest and 100%. Looking for their best interests at heart.
I think you just, again, like, and this is probably people being new and maybe not having the confidence to actually, what Matt says, listen, this is where it has to be to have a chance. I'm no one to be, I'm big for saying to them, listen, I don't want to waste your time, I don't want to waste my time. There's no point, because at the start I was wasting people's time by going, oh, I'll try and get you that, you know, what you want, I'll try and get you. It doesn't, most of the time it doesn't really work, because all you do is you just waste your time putting it out to people that aren't going to want to buy it. The guy's like, have you got me an offer yet? You said you'd give me X amount, and it doesn't work. So you're better just being up front with them and just going, listen, you know, I've been in this game long enough now. It's a case of, this is where I think the price point has to be. And just be totally honest. And if they can't go there, they can't go there. Then the deal's no for you. Do you know what I mean?
And that's when you can look at another exit option. Like, can you refer it to auction, or can you do something else to help the seller and still monetize it? But it's like, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You have to first obviously do the numbers and work out what price you would have to get it for. But the answer more often than not is as cheap as possible. That still works for the seller, isn't it? So what's their pain? What situation are they in? And how can you help them the best to get them the most amount of money, but also make sure it's a sellable deal for an investor?
100%.
So last few minutes we'll answer the last two questions. Okay. Last one from Lucas. 3 things you wish you could tell your beginner self now.
3 things you wish you could tell your beginner self now? That's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah. Mine's is quite easy. Don't loan any money unsecured. That would be the first one. And then don't loan anybody any money unsecured. And see, to be honest, other than that...
Another story behind that, is there, right?
And then that would be it, because there's nothing that I've done that I wouldn't... I've made so many mistakes, but I've learned from every single one of them. Like I was saying, I think on the last podcast, I was spending crazy money that I didn't really have. So maybe don't spend all the money that you're earning, it doesn't last forever. Make sure you've got different avenues of making money, which is a big thing that we're both big on.
Definitely.
Because if one of them starts to slow down, then you've still got other ways to make sure money's coming in. And then don't lend anybody money unsecured would be my 3. Other than that, you've just got to take it in your stride and just learn from every mistake. Don't do the same thing and don't have all your eggs in one basket.
That's probably a big thing for me, like not having all your eggs in one basket, because that's one of the reasons why I did go into... I wanted a business model where I could offer a full A to Z, because I had so many overseas clients at the start. I had a full kind of I wanted an A to Z, which was sourcing, the refurbs and the lettings. And for me as well, that was a big thing where if I've got that growing and that's maybe not performing, maybe that will cover for it. You know, if the sources maybe not going well, I can take money from there. I've got my flip on the go, you know. So it was not having all your eggs in one basket, I think, isn't a bad thing. I think just sourcing is one income stream, but sourcing gives you so many opportunities to have more income streams. So you can find your assisted sale or your flip or something like that, and then it's another step closer to walking away for your job. You know, you only maybe need a handful, you know, 5-10 deals per year and one flip per year through your own sourcing, and that's your kind of full-time property. If you can sustain that and not have too many outgoings, then you know, you're just, as soon as you can get full-time, the more time you put into this, the more you get out of it.
So, and start as soon as you can.
Yeah.
The best it starts now.
Oh,
You know, start as soon as you can.
Last question. Going from commercial to residential, how should you prepare for this?
Prepare? And you talking about, is that question in the context like doing a commercial residential conversion?
Not sure.
Probably. So preparing for that, I mean, I wouldn't jump right into it. We've done a couple of assisted sales and a flip, I think, before we went into commercial residential. And it was a bit of a jump, but to be honest, like when you've got all the trades and you've got all the, you know your architect and you know a structural guy, you know, that's what it's all about. It's all about having that team you can trust. And it's just a process again, you know, it's like the planning and then it's the building warrant. So who deals with all that? Architects, engineers, speak to them, get them in, you know, get them involved. They're a bit massive part of stuff like that. And then it's a case of, right, there's a refurb now, so you're just going by the drawings that you've been given by the architect. You give them to reliable builders, contractors that know and have done high-end renovations before, they know all that stuff. And then it's just a case of you managing it or getting a manager in to do it. So it's a process again. And it's just a case of just taking it step by step. Once you're actually involved in the project, you know, it's just the same as any other refurb. You know, you're splitting, we've done 2 units, so you could do 4 units, but it's all just the same processes. The biggest thing is having the team, you know, relying on the professionals. You don't know everything. Your job is to find the deal, find the investment, really, and then it's just about, you know, getting the people in the right places to help you along the way to the end of the project, really. Well, good. Yeah, so good one. We'll wrap up there. So if you get anybody out there that would like us to come over anywhere, really in Scotland or the UK, to pop up the podcast, give us a shout. If you get anywhere that you think we should go, but no, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers. Oh my god,